Before the Normandy landings, the Allied states were fooling the Germans with fake armies, inflatable tanks, double agents and a general's double. At the beginning of June 1944, the troops of Great Britain, the United States and Canada landed on the coast of Normandy in France and opened the Second Front in Europe. This hastened the defeat of Germany. The operation was carefully planned a year before the start. Plans were developed for logistics, the accumulation of troops and the tactics of capturing a bridgehead on the coast. Also in parallel, a large-scale disinformation campaign was launched to confuse the Germans about the place and time of the landing. Operation Bodyguard aimed to deceive the enemy as to the timing, weight and direction of the prospective Allied invasion in France. It had three main goals: to make the Pas-de-Calais appear to be the main invasion target, to mask the actual date and time of the assault, and to keep German reinforcements in Pas-de-Calais and other parts of Europe for at least 14 days after landing. The first notes of the future operation appeared in July 1943. They were carefully refined until the end of November and then presented at the Tehran Conference, where the leaders of the USA, Great Britain and the USSR met. At the beginning of December 1943, the operation was finally approved under the name Bodyguard. The name was taken from the phrase of Winston Churchill, which he said to Stalin during the Tehran Conference: "In times of war, the truth is so precious that it must always be accompanied by a bodyguard of lies." Also, as part of this military operation, fake armies were created. In particular, the Fourth Army of Great Britain during the Second World War existed exclusively on paper and on the radio to simulate preparations for the attack on Norway. British counterintelligence made sure that German signalmen regularly intercepted messages from the so-called Army headquarters at Edinburgh Castle in northern Britain about the deployment of units, cold weather problems, the supply of ski bindings, training with mountaineer instructors. In the end, the Germans believed in the existence of this army, and Hitler sent more than 10 divisions to Norway to defend the coast of France. One of the most successful was the landing prep stunt in the Pas-de-Calais area. For this, on the other side of the English Channel, in the area of the port city of Dover, the mythical First Army Group of the United States was created. For this, fake army decorators from a British film studio built an entire military town with barracks, headquarters, docks and oil storage. They even produced mocks of equipment. Inflatable tanks and cardboard airplanes appeared in the army, and in the harbor there were mocks of landing ships. The Royal Air Force also joined the tasks within the framework of Operation Bodyguard. Since the summer of 1943, planes periodically scattered thin metal strips over German positions to confuse the radars of the air defense system. They did the same on the night of the invasion, from June 5 to 6, 1944. In their wake, planes dropped fake paratroopers from more than 400 mannequins made of burlap and stuffed with sand and straw. Dummies were dropped in the north of France, far from the actual landing site. In addition, British intelligence created a whole network of double agents. Their task was to convince German intelligence that these armies were real and to support the myth that Allied troops were preparing for the landing at Pas-de-Calais. Also, fake combat units were created in North Africa, which were supposed to simulate the threat of paratroopers landing in the Balkans. To corroborate this legend, they decided to send there a double of the British General Bernard Montgomery, who was to command all the ground forces of the Allies during the landing in Europe. Australian actor Clifton James was chosen for this role. At the end of May 1944, James was sent on a tour via Gibraltar to North Africa. Here he was supposed to hint at the false invasion plans to everyone whom German spies could reach. All this worked so well that even after landing in Normandy, the main German forces waited more than a month for the real attack elsewhere. During this time, the Allies strengthened their coastal beachhead, drew up reserves, went on the offensive, and ultimately won the Battle of Normandy.